very much, and good morning all. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Inuit Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. I'd like to introduce the members of the panel this morning. Via Zoom, we have Carrie Linkletter and Michelle Duncan. As well, the administrative secretary this morning is Twinkle Sharma, and the assessor is Nuwan Dudagala Munsinga. I hope I got that right, Mr. Nuwan. Close enough?
Yeah.
Thank you. To the Zoom participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into the meeting. Kindly follow along in the City of Winnipeg Border Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host submits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We'll be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by council and is independent of it and the city administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to the application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if matter pertains to application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all evidence about the application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We'll be hearing items 1 through 6 on our docket today. Ms. Sharma, please affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony.
For sure. Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Nuwan Tudugala Munasingha.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to provide at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Jared Mraz.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to provide at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. And we have first item on the docket being 45 Clayton Drive. Nuwan, we would like to hear your presentation on this, and I understand this is a non-co-op issue, correct?
Yes, sir.
So let's have your presentation then, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 243997, roll number 08 0027475500, 45 Clayton Drive. I'm going to ask non-cooperation with this because we didn't receive the 2022 and 2023 income and expense information. You can go to the page 19 in my brief, and we have sent a letter in April 13 to request the income and expense information. And then again, page 20, you can see we have sent another letter because we didn't receive any response for the first letter. And because of that, we have sent the second letter. And I have attached the 2025 assessment notice to show the mailing address is correct. And we have sent the information to the correct mailing address, and they have used 2025 information to appeal. That means they have to get the other letter. So that's my brief for
Okay.
the request.
Question for you, sir. I'm just trying to understand.
Mhm.
Was there a certified letter sent out? And where is the information provided for that, sir?
The tracking document, actually, I tried to find that tracking document in our system. Unfortunately, I couldn't find that tracking document. So I didn't provide that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Morales, do you have any information as to why your owner hasn't provided information?
I understood that they have provided it. I have it. I don't know why it's not tracked, or they provided it every year for many years. I wouldn't understand why the assessment department doesn't have it.
Well, it appears that the 2022 information was not provided to the city. Is that correct, Mr. Nguyen?
Oh, yes, we didn't have 2022. And yeah, that's right. And we
All
don't
right.
have 2023 too, but it's after reference date. Anything.
But you have no confirmation on sending a registered letter that this information was requested.
yeah.
I'm not understanding.
Yeah, like normally we have that tracking document, but I try to find it. Maybe I miss it, but yeah, I didn't provide that one for that.
Maybe it doesn't exist, and maybe it was sent out. Maybe the mailer was lost with this tracking information.
All right.
I don't know. Seems odd.
I believe we have the information. So what we will do is we will go in camera and decide whether we are going to grant or not grant the request of the assessor. So if you please, we will pause at this point. Thank you very much and welcome back. Nuan, we are not going to grant the non-co-op on this because of the fact that the information does not have the additional tracking numbers and copy of the mail that went out to them. It's for us to make sure that this has been done. So in the future, if you have such a request, those would be things that would be imperative to have. So with that being said, Nuwan, can we have the rest of your submission this morning?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023, assessed value 4,458,000, classification 20 residential, liability taxable. This is a two-story building built in 1965, number of suites 42, outdoor parking 48. Page 2, you can see location and aerial picture of the property. This is a good location. Page 3, request for income information and no sales for subject property. And page 4, you can see income value summary. The property has 5 bachelor suites, 13 one bedroom, 24 two bedrooms, altogether 42 units. Gross potential rent comes out 488,000 507, vacancy rate 3.6, effective gross income 470,921. We have used for 49.83% expense ratio, and based on that, net operating income comes at 236,261. We have used 5.3 capitalization rate. Based on that, estimated market value comes at 4,458,000. Market value per suite 106,142. And page 5, you can see the rent comparable. In here, you can see model average rent is supported by comparable rents. And page 6, capitalization rate. These rates are model generated. So in the chart, multifamily section, we have high rise, low rise A, low rise B, and 20% aisle for all of them are 4.75, and then 80% aisle 5.45. And page 7, you can see capitalization rate evidence. These following is the sample of actual sales that took place during the reference period. The purpose for showing these individual capitalization rate is to illustrate the accuracy of the model and substantiate the model-driven capitalization rate. They are not meant to be comparable specific to the subject property. So subject is 1965 building with 42 units. Model cap rate is 5.3. So this sales supported that cap rate. And then page 8, Municipal Assessment Act excerpt. And page 9, you can see the exterior picture and information about the building. And you can see the amenities they mentioned there. And page 10, you can see interior pictures. It appears renovated. Page up to page 12. And page 13, income and expense information up to page 17. We missed the 2022 income and expense information. So based on that other 2 year, I try to stabilize the income and expense, and it appears they have like higher maintenance and repair and higher vacancy. Normally that means they are doing some renovation. So when I am stabilized, I took 1,800 per unit maintenance and repair. So normally in my experience, typically R&M for unit runs 700 to 1,800, but 18, like we normally use 1,500 for average properties. We normally like 1,800 we use for like before 1930, but anyway I use 1,800 for this property. So basically estimated property value supported our model value. I believe 4,458,000 is fair value for the property. Thank you. This is my presentation.
Thank you, Dewan. Questions for the assessor, Mr. Morales?
Yes, on page 7, you have a list of sales information and cap rates. Who developed this? Did you develop this chart?
Actually, no. My colleagues developed this chart. We use 3 year income and expense information and based on that, we came out these numbers.
This colleague, is this a person that works in your office?
Yes, assessor, one of our assessor, senior assessor done that.
You know who this person is, or?
Yeah, I know.
Mr. Morales, I don't know if that's really relevant, who it is, but it was done in office, sir. Move on.
Do you know if any of these sales are on MLS in this list?
I believe these sales came from the land title office, and I am not 100% sure all of them are on listing on the MLS. I didn't check actually. So
Would you believe
yeah.
that there's 3 of them on MLS, at least 3 of them on MLS? Is it possible?
Yeah, I believe there should be more than 3 of them, but unfortunately, I didn't check that information. So because of that, I can't answer that question.
Answer if that quite possibly some of this information is incorrect, doesn't go with what is shown on MLS.
Moraz, Mr. Moraz, may I
Yeah.
remind you, the assessor is under oath. He's told you that those sales that he's shown on that page are sales that took place before the reference date, and he has 3 years worth of evidence. You're suggesting that he's not providing incorrect information? I dare say, unless you have proof of that, sir, I think that you need to go a different direction. So please move on.
Maybe I add the few information. Like basically, we discussed this one with until right now on the board. So other agents, so they have some information, and we verified if there is any error. But in this point, I can say there is no error with this chart.
These are all sales that were sent through land titles, correct?
Yes, that's what I know.
Thank you very much.
Any other question?
Yeah. On page 18, you have a reconstructed stabilized income and expenses. So this information does not agree with the model information on page 4. Basically, it states a different income, different expenses, and a completely different value. So are you saying that the assessment's wrong on this property?
No, basically, this is what I try to do this to show our model generated value is right. I mean, the expense ratio and the effective gross income may be different, but the final number is what we are looking for. So the final number is we got the same, so in the range, basically not the same. So yeah, that's the answer for the question.
If I understand it correctly, you did your own workup and your value is 4,725,000 under the income approach. However, the assessment of the property, when the model makes the workup, the model suggesting the property is only worth 4,458,000.
Yeah, the thing is we missed the 2022 numbers, that means income and expense information. So that's why I said this is like a ballpark to show we are in the range, basically. So if not, I would ask the increase, right? If not, so.
Well, but what is it based on? Like these numbers on page 18 do not coincide with the mailers. So it doesn't use the actual income from the mailers, nor does it use the income from the model. So did you just derive this income on your own?
No, I use the income based on the mailer. You can see in the page 13 on the bottom 4,923 for the 20, I think it's 2021. And those numbers I like triple checked. I definitely sure those the total numbers are 100% correct. That means
Well,
the
they're
total,
not though. The number you just said does not jive with your chart.
you can see 50186, and then because sometime you can see they they put the vacancy. I reduced that vacancy number, vacancy bottom. So I reduced that number from their vacancy.
But nothing is the same. The gross potential income is not the same. Potential rent, vacancy, bad debt, none of these numbers coincide with numbers from the mailer or the model. And then they give a total different number at the bottom of 4,725,000. So I don't know which is right, the assessment or your numbers.
Mr. Moroz, I believe what he's trying to say to you, sir, is that he is given what he feels is a view, his view of the valuation of the property. He's looking at it and he has used the information he has been provided by the mailers. They may not be exact, none are ever, but he's come up with.
They're not even close.
But that doesn't matter, Mr. Moroz. At the end of the day, he's saying, in his view, his opinion, sir, he comes up with $4,725,000.
The opinion has to
What
be
he's
based
saying
on
is
something.
And what
He's
he's
just-
saying,
He
Mr.
just
Moroz, is
got
that
some
that's
numbers from
close enough.
random numbers
Mr. Moroz, I
that
am
are all
speaking,
incorrect.
sir, and when I am done, you will have your moment.
Well, you're
Are we
simply
clear, sir?
testifying.
Are we clear, sir?
There's no need to
I need you to
take
give
that
me a
tone.
moment to finish my comment. You will then have your moment, sir. I promise you, you will have your moment.
That's
Thank
great.
you. So, as I'm saying, he has told you this is his check against what he feels should be the value to the model. He's saying the model is slower. He's saying his number is higher. That's all he's saying, sir. So, please, go ahead. If you have further questions.
Yes.
Like
My
maybe
questions are is why does none of the information in your opinion coincide with the model or the
you can
mailers?
you can see on the page 16 they have add bank interest and then bank deposits. So that's the difference. I
No,
think
it's
maybe
not. Anyways, no further questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moroz. Questions, Ms. Linkletter?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple. Mr. Nguyen,
Yes.
did you have a chance to inspect this property?
no.
Okay. And then I'm just going to ask, did you inspect any of the properties on the docket this morning?
No, I didn't.
All right,
We don't
so
have.
I'll just ask that question carry through. Can you tell me when the last time this property was inspected? Do you have anything in your notes in regards to that?
Give me one second. I think Sorry, there's no clear note. I believe maybe long time ago. So no notes.
Okay, thank you. And this was all model driven, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And you had indicated in your presentation that this property had had some renovation done to it.
Basically, I said based on the what they spend on sorry here R&M. So and also they have like higher vacancy and also you can see the pictures. So based on that, I said that, but I didn't inspect the property.
Okay. So then I'm just wondering why it has an age of 1965.
The reason because without inspecting, we don't add any effective age on those properties.
Okay. And your vacancy at 3.6 was model driven, correct?
Yes, that's right.
So you didn't take into consideration then, because you've just stated that they've had some vacancy due to revamping the property, so you didn't feel the need to increase the vacancy on it?
Yeah, what I feel like if they are doing renovation, adding the extra vacancy is not fair.
Okay. And just in regards to the revamping of this property, you've got pictures 10 through 12. So it does look like the hardwood floors have been redone, correct?
It's look like
But
new what vinyl planks? I'm not looks like, but I can't exactly say.
okay, so I'm just going to suggest page 12, the picture of the kitchen. I'm going to suggest that the kitchen has been repainted and perhaps new flooring, but certainly original cupboards and older appliances and older lighting.
Yeah,
I'm going to
light.
suggest then to you that the property has been staged, correct?
Yeah, that appears right, but light fixtures little bit upgraded, but anyway, yeah.
Oh, all right. We'll just have a difference of opinion there, but thank you very much. That's all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, do you have questions for the assessor?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Nguyen, I would strongly recommend the department go have a look at this property because I agree that it appears that certainly it looks like it's been updated to some degree.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to make a note about that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, at this point, I believe we are done with your part of this, Mr. Nguyen, and we will now move on to Mr. Miraz's submission. So, Mr. Miraz, please.
Basically, I took the 2020, 2021, and 2022 income mailers, with the income reported. The income is net of vacancy and bad debt. I took the expenses reported. The stabilization considers that there were some capital costs included. Determined I have a stabilized net operating income. The stabilized net operating income was capped at 5.5% to determine the value of $4,025,000. That's it for my presentation.
All right, questions, Nguyen?
Do you have any stabilization chart on your brief?
Chart I have is on page 1.
Okay. No detailed information, right? Just expenses. So, yeah, so without detailed information, it's hard to say, but in, okay. Okay, that's all my question.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, questions?
Do you have any comparables, whether they be sales or cap rates or anything like that?
Yeah, page. There's several pages of cap rate discussion. I was determined there's sales starting on page 22. The cap rate.
One moment. So out of your comparables, which ones would you say were most appropriate for comparable with this property? Is there like
I,
top one or two?
I used basically 5.5%, which is kind of the average of all of them that are included in there. Just it shows a return for what a prospective investor is getting from the building.
Which one is the one you feel is best, sir, is what she's asking?
All of them. I don't have a better or worse one of the bunch.
Thank you.
No further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Moroz, is this work that you completed for this hearing, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Morales, did you happen to inspect this property?
No,
And did you have a chance to inspect any of the properties on the docket this morning?
not that I'm aware of off the top of my head.
Okay, I thank you. That's all my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. And I think my question is, questions have been asked and answered at this point. Thank you very much. Is there any summation on either party's behalf at this point, gentlemen?
No, thank you.
Nope.
Thank you very much. With that, we conclude this property. We move on to the next property, that being $35 Bonita. So Nuwan, may we have your submission for this property, sir?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 244354, roll number 080027 49000, 35 Bonita Avenue, roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023, assess value 2,815,000, classification 20 residential, liability taxable. This is a two-story building built in 1963. Number of seat 29. It has 29 outdoor parking. And page 2, you can see the location and aerial picture of the building. This is a good location. It's not a bad location. So page 3, request for income information. And the subject property don't have any sales. And page 4, income value summary. And we have 21 one-bedroom, 8 two-bedrooms, altogether 29 units. Gross potential rent comes out 306,219. Vacancy rate 3.6. And effective gross income 295,195. Expense ratio 50.89. And then net operating income comes at 144,970. Capitalization rate we have used 5.15. Based on that, the estimated market value comes at 2,815,000, and market value per suite 97,000. 68. And page 5, rent comparable. You can see rent comparable here, and model rent is supported by comparable rents. And page 6, capitalization rate. This is a model-driven capitalization rate. I am not going to say one by one because this is familiar with the parallel. So page 7, municipal assessment at exert. And page 8, exterior picture of the building. And this I done some research online. I couldn't find any ad. Basically, maybe they might don't have any vacancy. Because of that, maybe they don't have ads. But anyway, this is a page. In page 9, you can see income and expense information. And in here, like if you see, this is the gross potential income in the page 9, and page 10, you can see the total income. It not explained by, I don't know, the suite income is not explained by the gross potential suite income. So this is kind of a little bit weird in here. So same to the all income and expense information. And page 17, I have done the stabilization. So I try to like in here, you can see gross for effective income is same as what they are reported in page 10 and 286. The difference in here, the vacancy. We don't calculate when we are doing their interest or anything. So, and that's why the difference. So based on that information, so here they are also they have like higher R&M in here. Here higher R&M. So basically I use 1600 per unit to stabilize. Based on that, I got the estimated market value 8,840,000 that supported our model model generated value. So so I think 2,815,000 is fair value for this property. Thank you. This is my end of my presentation. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Questions, Mr. Morales?
Yes. On page 5, or sorry. Give me a second. So my question on page 17,
17?
this income included in this stabilized, reconstructed stabilized income expenses that does not coincide with the mailers. Is there a reason for that?
Actually, I don't know how you say the coin. If you like total it and like expenses here, like we can go to 2021. We start with 2022. So they have net operating income 125,000, right?
Which year?
2022. So the total income they have
I'm not seeing that.
at page 10.
And sorry. Okay.
Their total income is 288,903, right?
Yeah.
So my one is 297,263. Right? You like
Significantly higher.
because they mention here like you can go to go and see their parking. They have parking revenue, right? In a page 9. So I think what the previous one you confused with the parking and other income. So so that's the reason you confused maybe. That you can see the parking on the page 9.
Well, I'm not confused at all outside of wondering where you got these numbers from.
So
Because
now
if you
you can
state-
see the numbers, what I'm taking, right?
Well, the gross potential income does not coincide with the mailers or the.
So that's
lot.
what I'm explaining right now. Look at the page
The
9.
gross potential income?
Look at the page 9. And you can see the parking there. They have parking, right? Can you see?
Page 9. Yeah.
Okay. So they have mentioned parking. They are right. Parking revenue. Okay. And
$10,788.
yes. And I reduced that amount based on their vacancy because that's the potential.
But you didn't because you used 9,000. So the parking's reported $10,788 and you used 91.70.
Yes, that's based on what they are,
15%.
how they reported, right?
No,
We have to use how they reported.
you have to use the gross potential income that's actually from the property or from some explanation as to where the gross potential income comes from.
So
Then you
that's
stabilize that actual amount from the building.
yeah, that's what they are. This is the what they are gross potential income in page 9. Based on that information, I have used I reduced that amount. That's parking. That's the difference if you are looking for. Maybe it's better to, I mean, you have my information before to come to the hearing,
9,
right?
It says 349,000. You use 338,916. I'm just wondering where the gross potential income comes from.
So basically, this is what they are like. So
it's not what they're reporting. But anyways, I don't want to beat a dead horse. There's no.
What they are reporting because they have like parking, but they didn't add parking in what they are reporting. So what happened to the parking?
It's reported in the statement. It's very clear. The numbers are very clear.
So
they just don't coincide with your numbers.
Yeah, look at it.
So I have no more questions in that regard.
No,
look at it. Next is that
no, look at the
use a different expense ratio, and you have again a higher value.
Mr.
All your
Ross,
numbers are higher.
Mr. Ross,
Yes.
just a moment, please. Nuan, the question has been asked. Where did you get, you got numbers shown on, as you pointed out on page 9, correct?
Yes.
Are these not the potential Is this not the potential income, not the actual income?
No, that's a potential income. And then,
Okay,
yeah, and then you can
and I
see
can
the,
also see that there is parking there, sir.
yeah, that's the difference
My
because,
question is, why are the numbers not, he's saying the numbers are on page 9. It's
I'm
clear the
following
numbers
that,
on
Mr.
page
Ross.
9 are not on page 17.
One of the
Nothing
things
changes
that
that. The
Mr.
numbers are not the same. You can
Yes.
say it's his estimate, or you can say whatever. The numbers are not the same.
Okay,
So I'm just, my question,
you've made
which
your
I
point,
stopped
sir,
asking,
and I'm
is
trying to
why
flesh
these
this out
numbers
from the
don't add
assessor.
up. They're not the same numbers.
Mr. Moroz, I understand, and I'm trying to flesh this out from the assessor. Nuwan,
yes,
you're trying to make a point now on page 10?
yes.
Is that what you're saying? That
Yeah,
there is no parking
yeah,
been added at that point?
yeah,
So
that's
you're
the
saying on
reason.
page 9, there was a potential,
Mhm.
and page 10, there is no parking whatsoever.
Yeah, so I
And yet-
add the parking, like based on their vacancies, I reduce the parking amount and add that parking. That's the difference on the gross potential income.
Yeah, I have
So-
no more questions on that topic.
So
My next question
at the end of
is,
the day, Mr. Moroz, I'm just trying to figure this out. I understand your questions so far, but Nuwan, when we look at your revisions or the reconstruction that you've put together
Mhm.
on
Page 17.
17,
Mhm.
and I look at 2022,
Yes,
I see that you end up at an effective rent, which is matches,
th-
I believe, what they have as actual rent reported. Is that not correct?
yeah, that's right, because I add the parking
And
because
then you added parking, so that's one thing that there was no number shown for parking though, correct?
yes,
Mr. Moroz, that I believe is part of the question, or that the answer that he's trying to give. He sees it as a potential, but then doesn't see it as an actual. Seems odd that the parking has disappeared between those two positions. You understand the confusion that the assessor may have on this, sir?
no. Basically, my question, which is very, very clear, it's on the lines of 2 + 2 = 4, is that none of the numbers in the mailer or the model coincide with his stabilized income. I asked him, he can't explain it, so I'm dropping the question. I have another question. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day and all night.
Well, we're not going to be here all day and all night, sir, I can assure you. So if you understand how the model's derived, it isn't going from the actuals. It uses actuals, but then it does an analysis and spits out numbers for it. And that's, I believe, Nuwan, is model generated all the way through, is it not, for the valuation?
yeah,
Correct?
yeah, that's correct.
No, again, it's not, because
It
the
is,
model.
The model
No,
that is
you have to
generated,
stop. You're
Mr.
testifying
Moroz.
on behalf of the
Mr.
assessor.
Moroz,
You got to
the
put an end
model
to that.
generated number is generated by the model, and it
The
is,
model is on page 4,
yes, sir.
and it
I
doesn't
understand.
coincide with his page 17.
I'm just.
It
I
couldn't
just
be.
pointed
None of
out
this
to you that-
matches.
Nuwan,
It
one
couldn't
moment.
be, right?
Mr.
Because
Moroz, gentlemen, I'm trying to make this very clear. The information that he has done on page 17 is the assessor's take on things. And the information that is shown on page 4 for the actual evaluation done by the model in this instance, they are two different things, Mr. Moroz. And the model generated information is what's assessed, period. Now, I
So
think
the
you made
assessor
that
is
clear.
testifying.
You may not
under
agree
oath.
with it, sir, and I appreciate that, but that's the information, so.
Well, I'm questioning the assessor
Mhm.
in that he does not agree with the assessment. Basically, you have an income approach generated by the model that gave the assessment. Then you have your own opinion of value. with an income approach that says you disagree with the assessment, so you yourself disagree with the assessment on this property. You're
I'm
saying
not-
basically the assessment is wrong.
No, I am not saying that. I say
But
assessment
you have
means
two different numbers.
no, it can be like this is opinion, right? So that
No,
means
it's not an opinion.
Mr. Mraz, what he is trying to attempt to do is he is showing you his version of the value on that page 17. That's all. And he's saying it either supports what the model has done or it does not. In his
The
opinion,
basic,
it does support the model. Please, I think it's pretty simple. You
It
can
is
cry all
very
you want
simple.
about, sir, you can tell me all you want that they're different numbers and it's not the way you think it should be, but it is what his opinion to value is. And all he's doing it for is to support the model, period. You're trying to
okay,
make a
so
mountain
my
out of
question
nothing
to
here,
you,
sir.
since
So
you're,
please, move on if you have other questions.
my question to you, since you're providing testimony on behalf
I
of
am
the
not
assessment
providing,
department,
I am making it as clear as
you have
possible.
to, I'm asking a question, you have to provide some clarity here, I'm struggling to understand this. You have an assessor here. We're appealing an assessment
Mhm.
of
Yes.
$2,815,000.
Correct?
I'm here on behalf of the applicant. The assessor is here on behalf of the assessment department. However, in this instance, the assessor has his own opinion of value. Nothing to do with the assessed value. He has a third opinion of value. He has supported his third opinion of value, which basically has nothing to do with the assessment. Even though he is higher and disagreeing with the assessment, the chair is saying that, in fact, that is typical, and he's supporting the assessment by saying that it's worth even more.
He's chosen to
That's
go
bizarre,
down this road.
completely and
All-
utterly bizarre.
Mr. Mraz, I agree with everything you've said. The point that I'm trying to make to you, sir, is very straightforward. He is doing this to use as a check against the model. That's all. And
So-
it's his opinion to value. You can
Yes,
disagree
okay,
with
now I
that,
have a
sir, and I
question for him.
appreciate that. But I
So
want you
then
to
he,
also
then
understand,
he, then
it is his right
Mr.
to
Assessor,
make that
you
point,
agree that the
sir.
assessment's wrong.
Again,
Basically,
do you have any further questions, Mr. Mraz, at this point?
Yes, Mr. Assessor, do you agree that the assessment is wrong?
no, I didn't agree with that because what I am like I try to explain to you, like based on their actual, our value supported by their actual. That's the basic. So like I try to do in in here to show
Is
you.
your, okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
On page 17,
Mhm.
is this your opinion of what this property is worth?
Basically, like when we are using their
Just
numbers.
yes or no, is this your opinion of what this property is worth? You did this work up here, it says $2,840,180.
The
Is that your
problem,
opinion what it's worth?
the problem is their information is not clear, so we can't
I'm just
exactly.
asking you, is this your
Based on,
opinion?
yeah,
You
yeah.
authored this.
No,
Is
no,
this
no.
your
Go on.
opinion what this property is worth?
I mean,
Yes or no?
no, I can't answer like give you a
Why
yes or
can't
no
you
question.
answer? Because it's,
No,
Nuance,
I
you
need
can't
to-
answer it because you don't.
Gentlemen.
No, I show
Terrible
you.
error here.
Yeah.
Nuance,
Yes, sir.
I need you to, he's asked a valid question.
Okay.
You have done a calculation.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion of value, you say the value on page 17 is $2,840,000, correct?
Yes.
Do you feel that that supports the value that the model has generated, sir?
That's not the question. That's
That
not
is the question, sir.
Yeah, that's what you
That's
asked.
not my question.
It is, sir. You're
No, it's
saying,
not. My
he feels,
question
he
is not if it
feels,
supports
is
the
it the
model. My
same?
question
No,
is if
but he
this
feels it
is his
supports it,
opinion of
sir.
value.
That is the point.
You have to start
Sir, I will
testifying.
suggest to you
I am
that you
asking my
take it as it
question.
is.
I am asking my question.
But your question, sir, has
My
been
question
asked
is,
and
does he
answered.
believe that this is what his opinion of value?
Okay,
That's my
Mr.
question.
Mraz, do you have another question, please? Move on, sir.
The income on page 4 is model driven. And
Yes.
basically it does not reflect the operations of the subject property. Because
Um,
if yours reflects the operations of the subject property, you have a different number. So either your number is correct or this number is correct. They're both not correct because they're different.
So how, you know,
So one
how
of them
to,
is right, one of them is wrong. Which one is correct? The
so,
model or your number?
so basically model means we have like gather more information with the property owners and then we generate the numbers, right? So then that number shouldn't be exactly right for the numbers they are providing to us. It couldn't be because that's a model generated number. So what I am trying to do here, I try to use their number and show it to you that supported our model generated value.
Okay, but you do not use the income from the model, nor do you use the income from the statement. So my question, because you didn't use either of these incomes, your incomes, I don't know where they're generated from, you can't seem to
I explain it. That
My
I
question
took the,
is that, do you understand that these buildings have registered rents? And do you know what a registered rent means?
yeah, that's,
What
I
does
know
it mean?
that.
My question is to you, what does the registered rent mean?
You're asking like, okay, so that means they have that's rent control, how they have own rent, they sign the own rent with the rent control, that's the registered rent, right?
It means that the building has registered rents and the RTB regulates the increases in rent and the amount of rent is registered with the building. So landlord can't come in and willy-nilly change the rents on a building. The rents are the rent.
Yes.
So in this instance, when I do an analysis, if the building's registered, generally you would use the registered rents because they cannot be changed outside of regulation.
Yeah, that's right.
You have used, I don't know what for rent. The rents are left, right, and center. The model rents are all over the place. I have no
Okay,
idea of
Mr.
what
Ross, I believe
happened.
you answered that
I have
question.
no more questions.
Ms. Duncan, go ahead.
Thank you. There's evidence that's been presented by the city in its totality. That's one component of the evidence. As a board, we will review the evidence after and make a decision specific to what our findings are. So I think both parties have had some wholesome discussion on the page 17. There's a difference of opinions. The board will make their own decision later. I'm just thinking in order to move on, if this is going to be the same in every presentation, it could become quite cumbersome. Two different opinions on numbers and valuations, and the board, I think, can make our own decisions based on the entirety of the evidence, not one page.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Or sorry, Ms. Duncan. That would be a good piece of advice to go forward with. So,
Okay, I just have a question. Is that because I was included in that?
sorry?
I understand. I was included in that commentary. The commentary is directed at both me and the assessor. So my response to that is, there was a that we're not going to just base it on one page on page 17. Page 17 is a summary of all the wrong information. I can do this same discussion on every single page in this document. But I said we'll be here all day and all night. So I will, like you say, to move on, we can accept my argument to this point. I'm not going to do this for every single report, nor am I going to do this for every single page.
All right.
Going forward, we'll accept that this is my problem with every single report that's been presented by the assessor, and we don't need to get into this same discussion over
Fair
and
enough.
over.
So let's move on, sir. So, questions, Ms. Duncan?
Sorry, I've been following this along. I don't think any further questions at this time.
Thank you very much. Ms. Linkletter, any questions?
Yeah, just a question in regards to the vacancy. You used a model, Mr. Nguyen, of 3.6, correct?
You are referring to page 4 or?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's a model driven.
okay. But you also stated that this property has experienced vacancy.
Yeah, based on their gross potential suite income and what they are reporting, they have some vacancies, but we can't exactly say because they didn't provide us any rent roll or anything. Because of that, this is what we have. So basically what I represent on the page 17 vacancies, that's the difference between gross potential income and what they are reported in the as suite incomes in the total income in income and expense information.
Okay, so bottom line is you used model at 3.6, even though this property has experienced vacancy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Would you also agree that the suite mix in this property is not ideal? There's 21 one bedroom and only 8 two bedroom.
Yeah, like that's normally
You
it's
get more
cut.
rent. You get more rent with more two bedrooms, correct?
That's right.
Okay. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you very much. And I have no further questions at this point. All right, Mr. Moroz, can we have your presentation, please, sir?
Yeah, basically, I took the 2020, 2021, 2022 expenses, reported income expenses. I stabilized them, came out with net operating income $132,000. I capped that at 5.2% for a total of $2,538,000. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much. Dewan, any questions for Mr. Moroz, please?
Just one question. Do you have any workup for your income and expense, the stabilization table for stabilization?
No, just what's on page 2.
Okay, that's all my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Linklater, any questions at this point?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Duncan, questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have no further questions. Any final summation from either party, gentlemen?
No, thank you.
No thanks.
Thank you very much. We will move on to the next item on the docket. That is item number 3. And that is 76 Niagara Road. So Nuwan, can we have your presentation on 76 Niagara Road, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 244377, roll number 0800216640, 76 Nyaka Road. Sorry. Roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023. Assess value 6,344,000. This is a 3-story building, built in 1971. It has 54 units and 54 outdoor parking. And page 2, the location and aerial picture of the building. And the location is good. So page 3, request for income information, and there is no sale for subject property. And page 4, you can see the income value summary. It has 27 one bedroom, 27 two bedroom, in total 54 units, and gross potential income comes at 672,786, vacancy rate 3.6, effective gross income 648,566. We have used 48.16 expense ratio, and based on that, net operating income comes at 336,217. We have used 5.3 capitalization rate. The estimated market value comes at 6,344,000. A market value for suite 117,481. And page 5, you can see the rent comparables. And those rent comparables supported our model rent. Page 6, you can see the capitalization rate. Those are model generated capitalization rate. You can see multifamily in the bottom of the chart. And page 7, capitalization rate evidence. The following is the sample of actual sales that took place during the reference period. The purpose of for showing these individual capitalization rate is illustrate the accuracy of the model and substantiate the model-driven capitalization rate. They are not meant to be the comparable to specifically to the subject property. So subject is 1971 building with 54 units. The model cap rate is 5.3. I believe 150 Hendon Avenue supported model cap rate. Page 9, municipal assessment at Exert, and page 8 and page 9, exterior picture of the building. And I found the page 10 also the information about the building. And page 11, I found one online ad, and it appears that unit appears renovated. And page 13, income and expense information up to page 21, and page 22, I have done the stabilization. So basically, when I'm doing the stabilization, I am not going to no, I haven't got the same numbers. Some numbers may be different because I had at the parking. That's the main difference there. I think expenses should be the same. So the estimated property value supported our model generated market value. So I believe because of that, the 6,344,000 is fair value for the property. This conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nuwan. And Mr. Morales, do you have questions for the assessor?
I do. On page 4,
Mhm.
the gross potential rent and vacancy, other income, this is all driven by the model, and it may not be based on the reported expenses from the subject property.
That's right. Yeah.
Then on page number 7, there's a list of properties here: the sale date, sale price, year built, capitalization rate. I don't see any net operating income listed that would determine the capitalization rate. Is it possible that some of these properties have sold on MLS?
Yeah, there's a possibility. I'm not 100% sure. As I said, the before.
And in your opinion, if you agree that it's possible they sold on MLS, is it also possible that the information given on MLS may be different than the information in this chart? Is that possible in your opinion?
Because when they are providing the MLS information means you mean information they are provided for the sales, right? Income and expense?
No, I mean like the multiple listing service.
Yeah, no, I know that. I mean, you mean you are talking about the sales number or what they are providing for the
income and expenses.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
It may be different because some agents generate their own that means proposed value like based on their opinion. So that might be different, but we are calculate this one based on actual numbers, what they are reported in 3 years.
Would you agree that if the property was in fact listed on MLS with an agent, with an income expenses.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? I missed.
Would you agree that if the property was listed on MLS
Mhm,
with an agent
mhm.
and the listing included the income and expenses, and that listing generated a sale, that information is probably more accurate or would be reflective of what the property sold for, why the property sold for that amount of money?
I can't agree with exactly that because like the buyer they are calculating their own they are doing their own due diligence or their part, right? So they basically they try to get the information, that means at least maybe 2 or 3 years information on the property and then calculate their own numbers. They are not depend on exactly the what their agents say. That's my opinion anyway.
So basically, you're saying that a purchaser will do their own due diligence on a building and purchase it under the amount that they think is an accurate representation of the operations on the building.
The other thing I can't, I mean, exactly say the how buyer thinking, and I mean, this is what how we calculate, and then yeah.
Okay, that's it. No more questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, questions at this point?
Just in that regard, would the registration at land titles, as far as what the property sold for, be the same number as what the MLS system would report it as a sale as?
I can't answer that one because I didn't provide this one. I believe this should be the same.
Okay, so really, yeah, no, that answers the question. Thank you. No other questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Linklater, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I don't believe I have any further questions. Mr. Moroz, can we have your presentation, please, sir?
Okay, basically, I took the 2020, 2021, and 2022 income and expenses. They're stabilized, led to a net operating income of $324,745. That's capitalized at 5.5%, to indicate a value of $5,904,000. That's the end of my presentation.
All right. Questions, Nuwan?
You didn't provide any workup for your stabilization, right?
No, it's based on the mailers. What I have is on page 1.
Okay, that's all my question.
Thank you. Ms. Linklater, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Duncan, questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have no further questions. Any need for summary on this, gentlemen?
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. And
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, is it possible to take a short recess at this point?
we certainly can. So we can recess for 10 minutes. That would be great. Thank you very much. And welcome back. We are now moving on to 1168 McPhillips Street. Yuan, can we have your presentation on this, sir, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 244329, roll number 140609601110, 1168 McPhillips Street, roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023, assess value 1,627,000, classification 20 residential, liability taxable. This is two-story building built in 1970. Actual build year 1961. We have effective age on it 1971, and 5 out with 12 suites and 5 outdoor parking. Page 2, you can see the location and aerial picture of the building. This is not the bad location. And page 3, request for income information. And you can see one sales there. And page 4, income value summary. It has 5 one-bedroom, 7 two-bedroom, altogether 12 units. And gross potential rent is 148,566. Vacancy rate is 3. So gross we have used the 46.37% expense ratio. Based on that, the net operating income comes at 77,286, and we have used 4.75 capitalization rate. Based on that, the estimated market value is 1,627,000. Market value per suite 135,583. Page 5, rent comparables. You can see the rent comparables here, and model rent is supported by the rent comparables. Page 6, capitalization rate. Those are model generated capitalization rate. Bottom of the page, you can see the multifamily capitalization rate chart. Page 7, capitalization rate evidence. I'm not going to read the whole thing. And the subject is 1971 building with 12 suites. And the cap rate is 4.75. The 459 Sargent Avenue sale supported the model cap rate. And page 8, municipal assessment at Exert. Page 9, exterior picture of the building. Page 10, interior picture. You can see up to page 12. It appears the this is already renovated, but it's in a good quality. That's what I'm saying. So page 13, income and expense information. Page 13 to 24. They have provided the detailed information, and they have provided the rent roll here. And so up to page 25. So 24, the income and expense information. And page 25, I have done the stabilization. So the stabilization support our model value. So because of that, I'll say 1,627,000 is fair value for the property. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Moroz, questions?
Yeah, page 25. I have my same questions as I always had. However, I just wanted to ask the assessor. Repairs and maintenance. It shows an average here for, I guess it's your stabilized amount. We'll call it, it's $839.99 per unit. That's probably, would you agree that's on the low side of things?
Yeah, that's low side of the number.
Okay, my second question is your estimated property value on page 25 is $1,826,740. That's about $200,000 more than the assessment, correct?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
That's about $200,000 more than the assessment. Your Estimated property value in the bottom of page 25 is $1,826,740. That's about $200,000 more than the actual assessment, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And then I just on page 7 is my same questions about the MLS and the cap rates, so I don't need to go through that again. The board accepts that. It's the same questions I had every single time.
Okay.
Then on page 4, this income and expenses is model driven. It's not based on the actual property, correct?
That's right.
That's all I have for questions.
Thank you very much. Questions, Ms. Duncan?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Linklater, any questions?
Yes, just one question. So, Mr. Nguyen, you gave this property a 4.75 cap rate, correct?
Yeah,
Model-driven?
that's model
Okay.
cap rate. Yeah.
And just in reference to your page, sorry, I'm just scrolling up here. Your
Page
page
47, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
your page 6 with your
Okay.
cap rate
Okay.
study.
Mm-hmm.
So this 4.75 is your lowest cap rate in the 20th percentile, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so no consideration to a building that's 54 years old?
Like basically that's a model generated cap rate, but that supported our like cap rate evidence chart because like when suite count is smaller, the cap rate's going up. If you you can see on that chart, I believe that's the reason model generated that value.
Okay. But as you had stated before, this property has not been inspected, correct?
This one is inspected. Sorry. Yeah.
When was it inspected?
Yeah, I'm
Did you
sorry about
inspect
that.
it,
Yeah.
Nuwan? Did you inspect it, Nuwan?
No, I didn't.
No.
But
Okay.
I mean, somebody else inspected this property because of that's why they have the effective age on it.
Right, but when was it inspected?
Give me
Do
one
you have any
second.
notes on that?
Yes, I actually noticed that now. This one inspected 2017.
2017, is that your answer, sir?
Yes, 2017.
Thank you very much.
Do you have anything in the notes in regards to the quality?
Yeah, this in the note they said this is a totally renovated, which is a renovated. Yeah, at that time they said it's a in a good quality and no vacancy at that time, but I don't know. Yeah, it says totally renovated.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you very much. And I think those are right. I'm good with questions at this point myself. Mr. Morales, can we have your presentation at this point, please?
Yeah, so basically took 2020, 2021, 2022 expenses and revenues reported, stabilized them for net operating income. In this instance, we're in agreement with the assessor that the repairs and maintenance were reported on the low side. So an adjustment was made to the repairs and maintenance that brought the net operating income in line with what the assessor had. The net operating income stabilized with that adjustment is capitalized at 5.5%, indicative value of 1.4 million.
That's your presentation, sir.
That's my presentation.
Thank you very much. Questions, Nuwan, of the appellant?
Do you have any supported document for the your expense and stabilization?
Yeah, I have the income mailers. Based on the income mailers,
Uh,
the
no
reported
any.
income expenses for the building.
So basically, you took the what they reported and you didn't do any adjustment, right? Isn't is that
Yeah, it was stabilized based. We were in agreement that the repairs and maintenance were on the low side,
Mhm.
which suggested a higher, lower expenses in overall. So I basically adjusted the expenses up for the low repairs and maintenance to match the. Basically, it's in line with the assessment.
Don't you? Yeah, don't you believe what they are reporting is what they spend for repair and maintenance for that year?
Well, we always stabilize the repairs and maintenance. They vary from year to year. For some years, repairs and maintenance are high. Some years it's low. If they did any work to the building, renovated it, generally for the next few years, maybe the repairs and maintenance are low because the entire building was renovated, which is the case with this property. So when that's the point of stabilizing or normalizing an operating statement.
Gentlemen,
Okay,
it
we try
appears,
to-
it appears that your NOIs are absolutely identical. So both of
No.
you are at $77,000, correct?
Yeah. No, that's all my
And at
question.
the end of the day, gentlemen, it appears it's a difference in cap rate, opinion on cap rate, is that correct?
Yeah, that's all.
and a slight difference on the income. So that and the slight difference on the income, the expense ratio.
This is a virtual tie in my world, 77,000 versus.
Yeah, it's basically the same.
286, sir. If it gets any closer, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That's all my question.
Thank you very much, Dewan. Ms. Duncan, questions at this point?
Just, do you use any sales comparables to assess value, to come up with your assessed value, or just the income approach?
You're asking me if I used any other comparables outside of the income approach?
Yes. Do you use sales comparables?
Just for capitalization.
Okay.
So
that's on page 10, then, just again, I'm just kind of reviewing this evidence. On page 10 of your presentation, it talks about the multifamily. And if I understand it correctly, I know there's different classes that shows in your evidence too, but there's, if you're on page 10, there's high rise, low rise. Would you say the subject property falls into the older, smaller, or what category would that fall into under multifamily?
Yeah, generally older, smaller.
So then could you, because I don't see any percentages here, maybe I'm just not understanding it, 1 to 3 points higher from what? Like what's your range of cap rates for an older, smaller revenue property, multi-family property?
So basically, on page 2, we have there's a 23-point chart. So for multiple family, we're assuming the optimal capitalization rate would be 5%. And then it drifts off of 5% based on analysis of the building, which is in part what's in these charts as well.
So your baseline is between 5 and 6.25, and then it gets adjusted from there depending on the specific characteristics of the property?
It's around 5%, and then it gets adjusted. So optimal would be 5%, and then it gets adjusted from 5% based on our own opinion of the building.
Okay, and then with this particular building, what would you say the primary characteristics of that cap rate decision are? without going into the big long study, but just in general, like what about this property puts it at a 5.5 in your opinion?
Generally, it was hit for just it's a size, the year built, and then it only has 4 parking stalls. So the biggest reason for it not being optimal is it has only 4 parking stalls.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Linkletter, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
And I believe I do not have any further questions. So, any summation, either party?
No, thank you.
No thanks.
Thank you very much. This concludes this property. We will move on. And it looks like we're staying in the very close approximation of the previous property. This is 1162 McPhillips. So Nuwan, can we have your presentation on that property, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 244327. Roll number 14060962100, 1162 Macville Street. Roll year 2025. Reference date April 1st, 2023. Assess value 1,218,000. Classification 20 residential. Liability taxable. This is two-story building. Actual build year 1961. We have a 1971 effective year build. It has 9 suites and 5 parking stalls. Page 2, location and aerial picture of the building. This is the the same place in a same area in the previous property. So this is page 3, request for income information, and there's a one sale occur in sublet property. And page 4, you can see income value summary. It has 1 bachelor suites and 8 bedrooms, altogether 9 units, and gross potential rent comes at 11,001, and vacancy rate 3%, and we have used for 46.82 expense ratio, and based on that the net operating income comes at 57,259. We have used 4.7 capitalization rate, and based on that estimated market value comes at 1,218,000. Market value per suite 135,333. Page 5, rent comparables. You can see the rent comparables. The model rent is in line with the rent comparable. And page 6, you can see the capitalization rate evidence. Capitalization rate. Those are model-driven, model-generated capitalization rates. So you can see multifamily in bottom of the chart. And page 7, capitalization rate evidence. I'm not going to read the whole thing. The subject is 1971 building with 9 units. The capitalization rate is 4.7, which is supported by 459 Sargent Avenue sale. And page 8, municipal assessment at exert. And page 9, exterior picture of the building. And page 11, income and expense information, up to page 11 to page 20. And this one has the rent roll and all information there. And page 21 is stabilization table. So the estimated property value supported model value. So because of that, I believe 1,218,000 fair value for the property. This conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions, Mr. Moroz?
Yes, I have just a couple. Page 7, you had indicated that the capitalization rates supported by 459 Sargent Avenue.
Mhm.
Is it possible that the information, the sale, including the income and expenses, asking price and final selling price, and capitalization, is it possible that information exists on MLS?
I mean, I can't exactly answer that question because I didn't check that information.
But is it possible that it exists on MLS? That's
Uh,
in the realm of possibilities. You
yeah,
agree?
it could be. Yeah.
And it could be that the information on MLS, when the property was listed for sale and sold on the open market, may possibly be different than what's reported in this table.
Uh,
It's possible, like in the realm of possibilities, that
Mr. Moroz, are
acceptable. That
you mean as the sale price should be right, 100% the correct.
Moroz, are you suggesting here that the information that's provided on MLS is somehow different from what they send into the department? Is that what you're saying, sir?
what I am saying is that the building was listed on MLS, and the MLS listing included the income and expenses, and the MLS sale, like the listing, the marketing of the property was on the open market. It generated a sale. And I would assume that the sale was generated based on the listing and the information provided to the purchaser who was able to do their due diligence, and that those numbers reported on MLS are different than a number of these sales in this list.
So you're saying that potentially that there's been information that's been sent to the department that isn't correct? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
I am saying that I believe the assessment department has in fact made a mistake in their calculations. I in fact think that they base some of their cap rates on the MLS asking price, not the sale price, and that they misinterpreted the information that was provided by the property owner and in fact made 3 mistakes in this chart.
Well,
No.
I'm not sure I'm seeing asking price as the beginning point in that chart, sir, so I'm wondering, it says quite apparently sale date and sale price, so you're inferring that that somehow is incorrect? Now, you might not
No,
agree with how they arrived at their capitalization rates, I can appreciate that, but I'm kind of a little worried that you're thinking that somehow the difference is that they've been either given the incorrect information or that they're trying to misrepresent it here, sir.
no, that's not what I'm saying. And I'll say it again, exactly what I said last time. This chart on page 7, this chart that the assessment department includes in almost every single one of their briefs,
Yes?
does not include the net operating income.
No, it does not.
What I'm saying is that, in fact, 727 Sargent Avenue, the capitalization rate of 3.46% is in fact based on the asking price, not the selling price.
I
This
can
is
do.
evident in the MLS listing. I could bring up the MLS listing and share it with everybody if we're so inclined.
This is based. This sale price based on the their actual. I mean sales, right? With the land title office. That's sales price registered in the land title office.
That's
So
what I'm not disputing the address, the sale date, the sale price. I'm not disputing the number of stories. I'm not disputing the number of suites. I'm not disputing the year built. I'm not disputing the effective age. I'm not disputing the price per suite. of your list. What I'm saying is your list, in fact, does not include the net operating income. And
Yeah,
capitalization rates are based on the net operating income solely.
yeah,
And
because
that this information, in fact, in your list, cap rate for 727 Sergeant is based on the asking price from the MLS listing. It's not based on the actual income related to that building.
I
I'm
exactly,
not finished. I'm not saying that anybody lied, like the chair implied. I'm not saying that any information was sent in incorrectly, like the chair implied. What I'm saying, in fact, is that 727 Sergeant Avenue in your list is a mistake made by the assessment department.
can
And
I,
that 3.46 cap rate does not exist anywhere in Canada.
Okay, go ahead, Dewan. I'd like to hear your answer to this question.
yeah, basically, like we have work up for these, but the reason we can't provide this information because of the private privacy. So like one time we provide that one to board, and then our management say don't provide because of the privacy issues. So I can't I can say we are use 3-year stabilization income and expense to come out this capitalization rate. So we actually several times we check double and triple check these numbers. So I definitely see this is a correct number.
Thank you
You're
very much.
saying, so my second question now is you're saying, in fact, that the information related to 727 Sergeant just said beyond a shadow of a doubt, you think with 100% certainty that this information in this chart is accurate.
Like basically I am saying we like calculate this one based on the 3-year income and expense information stabilized, and then we our like experience and experience assessor have done that, and then like senior assessor. So I believe because of that this is a correct information, and like we have actual information, that means the calculation and everything, but unfortunately we can't provide it to you because of the privacy information. So that's why I said that one.
But when you say you cannot provide the information, I understand that. It's a simple calculation, though, to determine what the net operating income would be for that building. Based on your information, the net operating income is like $20,000 a year, which I don't think anybody's going to buy a building as an investment that wouldn't even cover the mortgage. But anyways, I have no more questions.
Thank you very much.
Well, actually, I got one more quick question, just a very quick one. On page 21, the repairs and maintenance, I'm assuming it would appear that you used the 2020. You have a stabilized repairs and maintenance. I don't know where it comes from, but it's 1,037 per unit. And are we in agreement that's somewhat on the low side?
This is come from means this is average. So,
Yeah, okay. It's average. Is it somewhat on the low side for repairs and maintenance for a building of this age and location and seat count?
no, like I believe this is in a range, because as I said, like I seen as like sometimes 600 to lower 600 to 1800. The oldest building like 1930 to low, it's going to 1500, over 1500. I believe this is like renovated building. So we have inspected this building and as the previous one, and so I believe this is a fair fair maintenance and repair for the property.
Okay, earlier you said that your range for repairs and maintenance was 700 to 1,800. You said that the assessment department's average repairs and maintenance, their range is from 700 to 1,800. Is that correct?
Sorry, I read that 700. Sorry, yeah. So I mean, I can see like low 700. Sometime I can see more than 200 and 300,000.
Yeah, my question is
Yeah.
just that
Yeah,
in the range of 700 to 1,800,
yeah.
what you said is the range assessment department typically uses for repairs and maintenance in the model.
No, no.
Would-
That's what I am seeing. Like when I am adding information, I am seeing in that as average. That's my like
Okay.
personal information.
Okay,
That
so your
first,
personal information you
yeah.
stated earlier was 700 to 1,800.
Yes. That's my experience actually. That's what.
Right. So $1,000
Mhm.
per unit. That would suggest it's on the low side of things, not the high side.
It's kind of, I mean, in average, in the middle, right? Not 100% middle. I mean, for like,
It's on the low side of the middle then.
yeah. That's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
That's all I have for
Thank you very
questions.
much.
That the building was renovated, so we're in agreement that that's the repairs needed.
Okay.
I understand. Okay.
Thank you. Those are your questions then, sir?
Yep.
Excellent. Ms. Linkletter, questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have one question in regards to the cap rate. So this has been given a 4.70 cap rate, correct?
That's right.
And on page 6 of your cap rate study, that is below the 20th percentile, correct?
That's correct.
So the model is saying this is a superior property?
I think I can't exactly answer that question. I am not the modeler, but I believe because this is a 9 units apartment. So based on our capitalization rate evidence chart, as I explained before, the number of suites is smaller. The cap rate's going down. That's maybe the reason.
Okay. But still, it is below the 20th percentile, correct?
That's right.
All right. So I'm just wondering why it's only been given an effective age of 1971. Sorry, just to further comment, if your cap rate is below the 20th percentile, it is giving a reflection that it's a superior property, then why does the effective age not reflect that? It's still a 54-year-old building.
Yeah, basically what when we are adding effective age, what we do, we look at the Marshall and Swift age, and then based on the age we reduce based on the reference date, we reduce that number from that, and then we add the effective age. That's our basic. And then we also check with their actual income after changing it. If their actual income supported that number, we keep that number as it is. So that's how we treated. I believe because their actual number and actual income supported that 1971, that's why we use that 1971.
But you agree this building is 54 years old?
That's
correct?
Right.
All right. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, questions?
No questions, thank you.
And my question was asked and answered, so thank you very much. Mr. Mraz, I'd like to hear your presentation on this, please.
Okay, very similar to the last one. The 2020, 2021, 2022 stabilized income expenses. The building was renovated, so the stabilization consideration was that the expenses Repairs and maintenance was somewhat low, which is typical after a renovation. Big outlay of money renovating. Generally, the work has been done, so the repairs and maintenance in the following few years is somewhat on the low side. So I had adjusted the repairs and maintenance to the same level as the assessors, resulting in very similar net operating income. We agreed last time that it's basically the same. Capitalized that at 5.5% for a total estimated value of $1,055,000. That's the end of my.
Thank you very much. Nuwan, do you have any questions for the appellant?
No question this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan, questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Linkletter, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
And I don't believe I have any further questions either. Any summation on this, gentlemen?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes that item on the docket. And we will move on to item number 6, that being 1156 McPhillips. Again, we are in the same, apparently right next door to the other two we just heard. So, Yuan, can we hear your presentation now, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. File number 244325, roll number 1406096310, 1156 McPhillips Street, roll year 2025, reference date April 1st, 2023, assess value 1,627,000, classification 20 residential, liability taxable. This is two-story building, actual build year 1961. We have we have added the effective age in it 1971. Number of suites 12, outdoor parking 5. You can see the location, and this is the same location with the previous property. And then page 3, request for income information, and subject sale have one. Subject property has a one cell there. Page 4, income value summary. This building have 5 one bedrooms, 7 2 bedrooms, and altogether we have 12 units. And gross potential income comes at 148,566. Vacancy rate 3%, and effective gross income 144,000. So 144,109. Expense ratio 46.37. Net operating income comes at 77,286, and capitalization rate 4.75. Sorry. Based on that, estimated market value comes at 161,627,000. Market value per suite 135,583. You can see in page 5, you can see the rent comparables. You can the model rent supported by rent comparables. Page 6, you can see capitalization rates. This is model generated capitalization rate. You can see the multifamily below the chart. And on page 7, capitalization rate evidence. The subject is 1971 building with 12 units. Model cap rate is 4.75, which is supported by 459 Sargent Avenue. And page 8, Municipal Assessment Act excerpt. And page 9, exterior picture of the building. And page 10, also exterior picture. And page 11 to 20, income and expense information. I'm not going to go to each one. And page 11, 21 stabilization, and page 22 they have I add one permit there, and estimated page 21 estimated worker value supported our model value. So basically, so 1,627,000. I believe this is a fair value for the property. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions, Mr. Moroz?
Yeah, the board accepts, it's the same questions about the cap rate, same question about the income, same question that the income for the assessment was based on the model, and same acceptance on page 21, the same questions or comments. I have same question as last time, just on the repairs and maintenance.
Okay.
Your workup shows $839.58 per unit.
Yeah, that's the actual, based on actual.
Yeah, so that's somewhat on the low side.
Yes, that's right.
And generally, would you agree? I think you've mentioned it before, but just to reiterate that the building was renovated sometimes after renovation. We're in agreement that the repairs and maintenance may be a little bit low for a few years after.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all I have for questions.
Thank you very much. Questions, Ms. Duncan?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Linkletter?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have no questions either. Mr. Moroz, can we have your presentation, sir?
Obviously, the last two buildings in this one are very similar. Same
These are all
story.
the same, just out of curiosity, these last three buildings, all the same owner, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
so they're all very similar. They're all located right by each other. And it's the same thing. I took the 2020, 2021, 2022 income expenses reported. As discussed, repairs and maintenance seem to be on the low side, which we think is typical after a renovation. So that was adjusted upwards. Basically, like the assessor said, we all have our idea of ranges of repairs and maintenance, and we made the adjustment to the repairs and maintenance. And again, for the third time, the net operating income winds up, we'll call it the same as the model's net operating income. That was capped at 5.5% to give a market value of $1,400,000. And that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much. Questions, Nuwan?
No question this time.
Thank you very much. Ms. Linkletter, questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Ms. Duncan, questions?
No questions, thank you.
And I don't believe I have any questions either, so gentlemen, either of you have any summation on this?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
No,
Ross?
thank you. No, thanks.
All right. And I believe we've now heard all items scheduled today, and the hearing is now adjourned. I thank you both for your time and patience. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good day. Bye.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.